Hello, everybody. This is Daily Recall with Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, April 16th. Hope everybody's having a nice night. It's kind of a weird day. Not lots happening. Kind of everything's kind of just hanging there. You got the Liberals got their majority government this week. So we'll see what plans they have for us. If they actually, I don't think they'll surprise us and fix the country, put it on the right path. You'd hope, maybe. I don't think it. I can't see it happening. But we'll see what they do to us. What their next big move against us is. Now that they got the majority. So it's a little too early. They just got it. So I'm sure they'll get going on whatever nefarious plans they have for us. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then the Iran war. I guess there's still a ceasefire till Monday. And they say they're not going to extend it. Both sides said they're not going to extend it or whatever. But you never know. They might talk. I don't think they're going to come to an agreement, but I think it'll be a war again. We'll see. So that's Monday. But it's been pretty kind of boring. And like I said, I think they're just taking a breather, restocking. It's a pretty disruptive war. So I'm sure 2 weeks for either side to chill, to take a stock of the situation. It's kind of, I'm sure it's pretty common in history. They take these breaks. It's like sports breaks. So, yeah, we'll see Monday if the things heat up again. The gas price actually went down in Sarnia. It's $1.76 now. Excuse me. $1.76 from $1.78, but we'll see. Carney said he was going to cut our gas tax for temporary cut to the federal excise tax on gas, whatever. Who knows? But they're blockading Strait of Hormuz. They might blockade the other one in the Red Sea. So we might be in for a price shock still. I don't know how we're going to go in for the price shock. Most people are already at their financial limit. So anyway, today we'll look at just the regular stuff going on in Canada, which is usually just basically how Canada's turning into. They say it every day, but a third world shithole. And it can be stopped, but there has to be a will to do it, and doesn't sound like the Liberal majority's in a hurry to stop it. In fact, it looks like they're trying to accelerate it. So, yeah. And Pierre and the Conservatives are useless. Totally useless. So, big problems. I can see why the Albertans want to separate, but haven't heard much from the Alberta separatists lately. I'm sure that'll heat up too. Okay, so let's just look at this. A lot of stuff today. Ban immigration from India ASAP. Indian scammers have infiltrated every level of Canadian law. Former visa officer in Punjab, they come in on fake visitor visas. One sponsorship will be used for almost 10 people. They also have people working at the airport who will meet you to stamp your papers and let you into Canada. Canadian border needs to audit all employees now. Yeah, who knows, what kind of stuff's going on at the border.
Their visitor sponsorship to people. No, see, I'm gonna make documents that I have a wedding or I'm throwing a party and I got a whole notarized invitation printed for you. When it reaches India, they use everything. They just, change the name on the invitation and use that for different people. And that one sponsorship is used for like almost 10 people. They just changed the name, they added everything. It's fake. Why this happens? Because at the Canadian airport there are like very low chances where like they are calling the sponsors and checking if they actually sponsored them. And on the airport as well, there are people who are involved in this, so they do not check the papers correctly. They plan this whole tickets and everything, so that person is going to be there, so we have to, you know, get your ticket on the time so you guys meet, and he will take your papers and he will, you know, let you enter the Canada.
Wow.
Enter the Canada, and they just, you know, they apply for the refugee.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, when it comes to getting
living in Canada,
when it comes to getting into Canada, Indians are like nuclear scientists. They know how to do it. They have all sorts of tricks to get into Canada. So she's basically saying scam, like scamming immigration to get visas, because I don't think you can come from India on a tourist visa. Maybe you can, but you have to do all sorts of, you have to get a visa though. Like the States and England, they don't need a passport, or they only need their passport. They don't need to apply for a visa, they just show up. But I think the Indians need a visa, tourist visa. So this is the way it's scamming in it. And then when they get here, some of them go illegal, or others claim refugee status. So, because we're suckers here. This video has been making the rounds. Canadian citizenship. And, you know, obviously, they're all from India or areas around, you know, you get the picture. All right. Well, at least they're singing "O Canada." Canadian government hates white people. They are being replaced and ethnically cleansed at an alarming rate. 96% of the 100,000 killed by MAID were white. Yes. Not a single white person in this video. Yeah, I mean, that's not a very diverse crowd. That's, you know, it's very non-diverse. Just diverse. All right. And more third world. Toronto. Look at this guy.
Just put your feet up a little.
He's got rotten foot.
So I can pass.
So basically when,
Please. Thank you.
I don't know why, I'm not a doctor, but I'm sure he's been sticking needles in those feet. But look at those brand new streetcars. This is unacceptable, really.
Just put your feet up a little bit higher so I can pass.
Oh my God.
Please. Thank you.
And like I you know, I feel bad for the drug guy. He shouldn't be on the train at all. No, that's all that matters. Like, it's a joke. TTC's a joke.
Just put your feet up a little.
Of course, an Indian's running TTC. What do you expect?
Please, I don't want to touch your feet.
Oh God.
Thank you.
And this isn't the first video of this kind of stuff on TTC. There's all sorts of nasty videos. It's like, I want to take my kids to Toronto and ride the subway with them like I used
A
to.
little bit higher so I can pass.
Yeah.
Please, I don't want to touch your feet. Please.
Oh God.
Thank you.
All right. Third world Toronto. All right. Here's our foreign minister, Anita Anand, from India. Well, she's born here, but she's Indian. She's put some makeup on there. Holy. Someone must have told her, you need to put makeup on. It's just because she doesn't usually wear makeup. So she says here, we're sending 120 million to Sudan for humanitarian. I guess, you know, Sudan's shithole is so bad that South Sudan, they left Sudan and became South Sudan, and now there's two shitholes. And I'm sure this 120 million. Let's listen. Let's see.
Government is announcing more than 120 to
Today, our government is announcing more than $120 million in new funding to support the people of Sudan and neighboring countries. Canada is gravely concerned about the worsening humanitarian crisis.
Okay. So 120 million to Sudan for
Today, our government is announcing
for humanitarian aid because the country's destroyed, like all the African countries. Sorry. And two things is the 120 million is not going to help the Sudanese because they've poured tens of millions and billions of dollars into these countries and nothing's helped them. So that money's going to go to waste. I'm all for helping people, but I have zero faith that Sudan women and children will benefit from this money. Probably liberal insiders will get it. And second, we're getting all these sorts of Sudanese refugees. So, and obviously I feel bad for them because the country's a failed state, but we're not obligated to, take in all the countries of all the failed states. It's better if they stay there and fix it, or try and fix it. So yeah, that's what I thought about the Sudan funding. We're getting a lot of Sudanese. I'm sure there's going to be more coming. This money won't help anyone. Everything in Africa, along with the aid programs, is a scam to launder and steal money. Decades of pouring money into Africa and things are worse than before. I mean, yeah. Next one. Now we go back to the Indians. We went from the Sudanese to the Indians. I go everywhere. Look at this. This is not good because. So you know how basically in Canada all the gas stations are owned by Indians for some reason. And then they bring their 20 cousins to work in the store there. So this guy got caught watering down his gas. I've heard this happening in Greece and very looked down upon in other countries. So here's the post. Now we risk having our vehicles destroyed because the scammers who seem to own most of the gas stations are watering down the gas. First Ontario, now Alberta. Ooh, it's happened before in 2 different provinces. So it's just part of the, like I was joking, they always find new crimes to commit. They're very good at that. So it's like whatever, if it's extortion, if it's just scamming old people, smuggling drugs on trucks, crashing trucks, whatever. They got it covered. Hotel sex trafficking rings. Now you got the gasoline, the watered down gas. If it's a scam, they're there. I was going to read this article. I think I got the coming up here. Here's some Tyson Hockley, who's a young Canadian guy. And I look at this because it's ultimately these guys are going to be deciding what's going to happen or not, the younger generation, I mean. So I always like to listen to them, see what they're saying. They seem pretty frustrated. I mean, literally there's nothing. Like when you were younger, when I was younger, you could move out of your house. $800 you got to sit in an apartment, first and last, whatever. And you didn't have to kill yourself working. You could have fun. So I feel kind of bad for this generation. I got young kids too, so let's see what they say here. Okay, this 2 young Canadians talking.
So what do you think could even be done, like, for Canadians? Do you think that Canadians should, like, make social media channels and spread awareness and actually get these ideas out there to combat mainstream media?
Honestly, the only thing we can do, it's a little bit radical. Send them all back home.
Seriously, mass. What's it called? Demigration.
Deportation.
Really?
That's
Holy shit.
pretty much the only thing we have left. Is that, or we succumb to, the Indian takeover.
But what if we deport like a lot of like good people in that process too, and maybe a lot of people that came here legally but they're Indian and they have families here and stuff? What if like they get scooped into that?
Send them all back.
So everybody back.
Yep.
Really?
All we have left. If not, we're doomed.
What do you think about people that say that it's a bit extreme of an opinion?
Just before I even said it, I said it was extreme.
But you think that extreme is required?
Well, at this point, pretty much. Do you have any other ideas?
Bro, I really don't.
Bro, I don't.
For your bills.
So that's the younger
so what do you
generation
think would be
talking. I
done?
like to try to listen to kids once in a while. I hope they get involved because they're the ones that are going to live in this hellhole if it happens. All right. Here's an idea. Immigration consultants should be caned and then sent to whatever shithole they came from. It should be illegal to help foreigners enter Canada. Yeah, immigration consultants. They're scumbags. They're scumbags because they promise the moon, they take all the money, and they leave us stuck with all their clients. Ontario judges sounding the alarm on Canada's justice system, warning it's bending over backwards for foreign offenders while vulnerable Canadians are left to deal with harsher consequences. So it's like, yeah, two-tier justice in Canada. Commie shit. Commie Bolshevik stuff. You're treating the dregs that you brought in better than average Canadians who commit crime. Like, seriously. Lots of cases where guys are getting their sentences reduced because if they get a harsher sentence, they'll get deported. It's ridiculous. All right. Here's another one on the Sudan. Gravely concerned about escalating crisis in Sudan. So yeah, that's going to be more Sudanese refugees here. That's more people that will basically feed off the social system. Starvation is being used as a weapon. Civilians are being targeted, and women and girls face widespread violence. Today, we're announcing $120 million to deliver urgent, life-saving support. Yeah, it's not going to help anybody. Not one civilian in Sudan will ever see this money. There will never be any follow-ups regarding this money or who it even went to. Our politicians were told by an unelected organization to give this money away. Yeah, I don't think too many people have too much faith in that. Oh, this is in Texas. Oh, God. It's interesting, Texas and Ontario, we're almost going to be like bonded with our Indian invasion links. Like Texas is starting to look at Ontario and saying, "Oh my God, this is in Texas." There's tons of them in Texas for some reason. They're taking over whole towns in Texas. They took over Brampton here, so. All right. Okay. Russian. We'll see about the Russian thing, the Iranian war next. All right. I did a lot of retweeting today. Here's Mark Miller. This guy. We'll be hearing a lot from this guy. He's the culture minister. Now that they got the majority government, he says the majority government will move to regulate legal internet content, says Heritage Minister Mark Miller. How seriously are you considering this idea? Very seriously. So I don't know. This guy's like a total Bolshevik wannabe. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be lots of free speech suppression coming from these guys. C9, I think it's coming in. We'll see, you know, if it's like UK where they knock on your door for a stupid Facebook or X post. Look at this guy. He's Trudeau's buddy too. I don't like him. He thinks he's all smart and funny too, but he's really just a traitor. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. That's what I want to keep an eye on, is if they're going to go full commie now that they're on got their majority. Here's the gas guy again. Trying to find the actual article. Canadians used to get worried about watered down gas at native reserves. Now that the Indians run most of our gas stations, we have to worry about it everywhere. Yeah, that would suck. Your car's crapping out as it is, and then you got this shitty gas. All right. Ban immigration from India. It's the only way. It's the only way, to be sure. Here's another refugee. This is from the Palestinian territories. The Palestinian territory. 918 refugees from Gaza have arrived in Canada. Another 900 refugees. Department says it continues to process special permits for Gazans, a safe haven in Canada, for 3 years. They're not going back. If Israel has their way, they're not going back. So Israel will keep sending refugees to Canada. They're no ally of Canada. Like, a lot of people are going to say, oh, we don't want these refugees, these Muslims. And I agree. We don't want them. Like, but think about why they literally got bombed. Like, there's literally no more Gaza left. So why, who do you think's sending them here is what I'm saying. Same with the Syria thing. Where we get 40, 50,000 Syrians. That was Israel's war too. They funded them in the United States. They funded a lot of that uprising against the government. So all these refugees coming over from that region is courtesy of Israel. And here's another 918. They're not going back either. 3 years, it'll be 30 years. So yeah, next time you support all these forever Middle East wars, no, this is just the tip of the iceberg, because Palestinians, they haven't even started deporting the Palestinians, so there'll be more of those coming, and probably more from Iraq, Iran. It's crazy. Here's Dominion Society. No more asylum seekers. Canada has been remarkably generous, and look where it's gotten us. Taken advantage of by the world. Canadians first. Yeah, like there's scams, videos all over the internet saying how to scam Canada, because it's apparently easy to scam Canada. There's that visa officer. I don't know why that retweeted so much. There's Mark Miller. Current Liberal Culture Minister Mark Miller says that it will be much easier to regulate and censor the internet now that the Liberals have a majority government. Of course. They can't wait. We'll see. Keep an eye on him. Several Edmonton drivers furious that their vehicles wouldn't start or broke down on the road after they all fueled up at the same Southside gas station. Indian scammers. It's always them. Most of the time. Like, is it really worth scamming somebody to, like, your whole reputation for shitty gas? You know, like, you'll have a reputation for shitty gas and then you'll have to close. So it really doesn't make sense, but I guess that's what they do in India, so why not do it here? Here's this, these guys are still protesting. I don't know if the ones in Ontario are still protesting. These temporary workers in Winnipeg are still demanding work permit extensions. Now they protest at the Manitoba Legislative Building. Great opportunity for CBSA to round them up. Yeah, they'd rather die than go back to India. We'll see if Canada has the guts to has the stomach to deport. They might. During the Great Depression, the Canadian government was they put ICE to shame. They were really good. It can be done. Mostly young men. Send them back. Stealing jobs from Canadian students, according to Jerry Lay. All right. Look at this. Here's another one. We saw yesterday an Indian scammer telling Indians in Kitchener, I think, to go to a soup kitchen run by a Catholic church. It's like going out to dinner, basically. It's free. It's like, wow. So now here's another one. Like, these are all over the internet. Like, the soup kitchens, the food banks more so, are been destroyed by these guys. Not only for demand, but also for the reputation of the food banks. Because Canadians, they're like, screw this. I ain't giving it to these scammers. I'd rather donate my food to whoever I see on the street. So, what's this Dwight Singh shoot? I don't know this account. Hindu man in Canada explains how he saved 60-70% of his groceries last month by getting free food from a food bank. He also explains how you can sign up your family members to get even more food, and then shows a lineup which is also filled with more Indians. All right, let's listen to this guy.
Canada on a Google. Enjoy the perks.
Give it a like and a follow.
I saved 70 to 80% on my groceries last week as I got this much grocery free. So Canada has this food bag concept which I saved 70 to 80% on my groceries last week as I got this much grocery free. So Canada has this food bag concept which work
food
on the
bank
charity
concept.
basis. You just have to log on their
It's a
website
concept.
and make your own account, and if you have some family members you can enroll them in the same. After making the account you can select the nearest food bank and book an appointment. But yes, some of them doesn't work on an appointment basis, they work on a first come first serve. As they are working for charity, I could see this long queues of people waiting for their turn. So now I'm leaving a link in a description, or else simply you can search food bank in a Canada on a Google. Enjoy the perks.
Food bank
I saved
concept.
70 to 80% on my groceries last week as I got this much groceries.
That's what they call it, a concept.
Canada has this food bag concept.
Our concept was only if you're like
You just have to log
at the end of your come on guy, the end of your rope. That's when you use the food bank. Like, nobody likes using the food bank, but these guys love it. There's Minister Anand again. I don't know why these all got reposted. Oh, this one's going around too. Melanie Jolie, who is our industry minister. She's talking about the election win in Montreal or in Quebec. So it's Riley Donna. Minister Melanie Jolie says changing demographics contributed to the Liberal win in Terrebonne. Very important community from Haiti, also from Northern Africa. Things are changing across the country. Yeah, they sure are. Let's listen to this.
The geography of Montreal is a bit out. Here you say, it's a traditional block riding, it's a long-standing block riding. Is that an admission that it might be tough? Well, it is tough. Last time the results were one vote difference. What else can I tell you? And the Supreme Court took its decision. Of course, we respected the justice's decision, and so that's why there was a new election called. And so we got involved very much, and I think also Terrebonne is a riding. For those who don't necessarily know the geography of Montreal, is a bit out at the on the outskirts of Montreal. It is very much more changing as Montreal and Quebec is changing, and so the second generation of first immigrants coming to Quebec, a very important community from Haiti, also from Northern Africa, and so things are changing in across the country,
that'll be a great
particularly
change.
here. And so I think that could be actually very favorable in general for a candidate that is from the Asian community.
So yeah,
You say, you know, it's a traditional block writing. It's
that's
your
just like
longstanding
they're
block-
saying they're
Is that an
replacing
admission
it.
that it might
They're
be
not even
tough?
gonna hide it. They're
Well,
not
it
even
is
hiding it
tough.
now that they got the majority
You know,
government.
last time the results were
They're not even hiding it. Not even hiding it. Not even hiding it. This is Jamie Sarkanak. She's been pretty good lately. I think she works for the National Post. She says, so you're not supposed to talk about the people whose ancestors built this country as a distinct group with distinct cultural interests, but we can applaud new people who show up and change the political fabric of the country to suit their political interests. Yeah. It's like whenever Canadians aren't allowed to talk about the Canadian history, but these new people are allowed to come in and change the whole the map, and it's a good thing. Okay. I saw this story. Number of private security guards licensed in Ontario has increased 75% from 92,000 in 2020 to 162,000 in 2025. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of security guards everywhere. It's crazy, and you know, someone's getting some juicy contracts from the governments, the cities, and whatever. Like here in Sarnia, you gotta go to Dollarama. They had security guard, although I haven't seen them lately. Value Village and the mall. I see the mall has at the jewelry store at the mall has a guy there, plus the regular mall security. The library in downtown, they have full-time security. They don't do anything. They just sit there. A guy's bum's sleeping in the library. They don't do anything. So these guys are all useless security guys, and they're all Indians too, which is weird. But basically it's a low trust society we're turning into, where you need security guards basically to call the cops. That's all they are. They're just there to look and call the cops if they think things are warranted, let's say. Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon. Definitely not a good sign for Canada to have all these mall cops. And some of them think they're actual cops, which is funny. At least in the States, they don't have guns here like they do in the States. Here's another one. Sex offender facing deportation tells cops Canadian laws don't apply to me. Greg Wycliffe says, okay, Toronto Sun, but why does your article refer to him as a Winnipeg man when he's from Ghana and he's here illegally? See, another African country. We got to ban the immigration from Africa because there's 1.5 billion Africans and they all want to get the hell out of Africa. And it's a bit of a different culture there in Africa. They got a bunch of different cultures in Africa and they're not really compatible with Western society. So why we're bringing in Africans, I have no idea. I'm sure we're going to get I'm sure the government will make this illegal to complain about soon. Mark Miller. Yeah, this guy's from Ghana. Maybe he should stay in Ghana. And he's here illegally. He's a sex offender. Canadian laws don't apply to Gilbert. What's his name? Nuama. All right. I'm not even a Canadian citizen, so your laws don't apply to me. Okay. This 37-year-old Winnipeg man, they called him a Winnipeg man when he's not from Winnipeg, pleaded guilty to 1 count each of sexual assault and forcible confinement in February. Nama remains in custody and is slated to be sentenced at a later date. He clearly does not view Indigenous women as people, Crown Attorney Laura Martin told provincial court judge. So it was a native girl he did. The state of our country in terms of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls is a state of crisis, and this is someone who's actively telling his court he wants to participate in that. Holy shit. So she was at a party at this house. He was there. He dragged it. She wanted to leave. He didn't want her to leave, so he dragged her to a bedroom, locked the door, and sexually assaulted her. Others in the home. So basically, this is how they do in Africa. That's their thing. So he's waiting to be sentenced. I don't even know why he's still here. So yeah, I'm sure they'll deport him, but they should be deporting him right away, this weekend. Sex offender facing deportation tells cops Canadian laws don't apply. They treat their women. They treat women like dogs. It's an African thing. I don't know. It's not hard to figure it out. You just got to read a little. Canada's a little lucky because Europe, it gets a lot of them because the geography is such that they can take a little boat ride across from Libya or Spain into Spain and then into France and England. So they're getting flooded, but we're letting them in on our own. We actually advertise in Africa to immigrate. The government advertises in Africa. Say, hey, come to Canada. Right now, they're, according to David Parker, and this kind of related to this. There are two Canadas. There's one that the boomers live in, where their homes are paid off. They go to their cottages. Their homes have increased in value to insane levels. These people love Mark Carney. Well, they do. Then there's the rest of us who are watching the entire system collapse. So, yeah, I thought that was a good post. It's kind of how I feel. I'm definitely not on the boomer side of the success, which is fine, But back in the day, when you took a bad turn or you had a little bad luck, it was pretty easy to get back on the horse. Now it's like, wow, you're at the bottom and you're going to stay there. All right, what's this? Oh, God. Vaccine Bernier. I think immigration has got to be, we got to drum it up. We got to keep the pressure. Because it's real. I think it's starting to sink in that they have to deal with it. And I think they're going to deal with it by arresting people who complain about immigration. But at the same time, just keep complaining about it. Make it the issue. Because the last election wasn't even an issue, which is ridiculous. So here's Maxime Bernier saying, Nigerians are giving each other advice on how to apply for asylum when they arrive in Canada on a tourist visa. We must automatically reject fake asylum claims from visitors, foreign workers, and foreign students who are looking for a way to stay in Canada and immediately deport them. Yeah, this is the no-brainer. They come here on a tourist visa and then they declare asylum. And then once they do that, they're in the system. And the idea is they're in the system so long, it gives them opportunities to get married, have a child here, which gives them a better chance of staying, I guess. So we're the dummies. Our government's the dummies that let it happen. Anyway, it's not really rocket science. Just say, hey. And I think they're starting to cut down on ways people that can apply. You can't apply if you come here on a visa. I don't know. But you really need to crack down hard on this because this is costing us billions of dollars. Let's watch this.
To answer this question, you don't have to claim asylum at the airport. You can enter Canada first and then make your claim from inside Canada. But let me be very clear, so you don't make a costly mistake. I do not advise people to delay their claim without a valid reason. So if you are coming to Canada on a visitor visa and you already have fear, risk, or danger in your country, your actions must reflect that. With Bill C-12 now effect, timing matters more than ever. If you come into Canada and wait too long before making your claim, your case can be declared ineligible and may not even go to the refugee board. So it is not just about where you claim, it is about whether your story makes sense. from the beginning. If you truly have a
Your story.
well-founded fear, you can claim at the airport or shortly after entering Canada. What you should not do is come in, stay for a long time, then try to claim without a strong explanation. This is where many people get refused. So if you're not sure what applies to your situation, get proper guidance before you act, because one wrong step can affect your entire case. For your information, I do not guide people on how to come to Canada. I do not assist with visa applications, and I do not guide people on how to claim asylum or war story to use. I only work with refugee claimants in Canada who have already submitted their claim and are waiting for their hearing. My role is to support them with preparation and guidance during the refugee process only. So, only refugee claimants in Canada can contact me. All right? I am not a traveling agent. I do not give people story to claim asylum with. I am not a lawyer.
All right. Yeah, she just likes her videos, I guess.
To answer this question,
She's given tips on asylum claimers, so she's just trying to build a. She's probably just saying that so she doesn't get. So the cops don't bother her. Yeah, we got to ban immigration from Nigeria ASAP. There are 250 million Nigerians. I was shocked. I thought there was only like 80 or 90. Even that's a lot, but. How the hell is there 250 million Nigerians? Like, I thought they were starving over there. 250 million. And they all want to get out of Nigeria and come to countries like Canada. So, yeah. This is horrible. Here's another one. Out of Ottawa, Mohammed Habib, 20, facing multiple sexual offense charges, including 2 counts of sexual interference involving a person under 16, 2 counts of sexual assault, and 1 count of harassment. 20 years old. He's a rough-looking guy, too. Look at this guy. Yeah. These guys, rape is a thing over there, like Middle East and like especially the more wild areas of the Middle East, but also like in India and Africa. It's like this is just like going out for coffee for them. All right, it's not good. I don't want to import rapists. Happiness, okay. What's this? Chris Brunet. I thought this was interesting. Over the past decade, Canada has dropped from one of the world's happiest countries to 25th. I can agree with that. Of the 3 countries that experienced a greater drop in happiness among young people than Canada is Malawi, poverty rate of 70%, and the other is Afghanistan. So we're in good company. This decline is not consistent across age brackets. Canadians over 60 still rank in the global top 10 for life satisfaction. Canadians under 25 rank 71st. There's going to be some pissed off young Canadians. And they should be pissed off. Okay, here's a funny thing. Oh my God. The government, the Department of Housing, I don't know, project managers, this is some crazy, they spent millions of dollars to give homeless people cameras so they can document their homelessness. Oh wow. We're not going to solve homelessness, but we're going to record it. Okay. Here's this guy from Hungary. He just won an election as the Hungarian Prime Minister. He says from June 1st, he will end all non-European migrant work permits. Their arrival will be reduced to 0. We want to work on returning ethnic Hungarians from Western Europe. Yeah, it'd be nice if a Canadian politician said that, but that's going to be a long ways away. Next, this is Dominion Society. This is funny. Canadian Senator Paula Simons mentions the Dominion Society in her statement in favor of anti-free speech bill C9. Remigration has officially entered the Hansard. No. So, Bill C9 is the one, the hate bill, I think, where basically if you say, we need to ban immigration from India or ban immigration from Africa, they'll say, oh, that's hate speech. And we'll see how hard it's such a vague bill that we'll see how hard they crack down on it. I'm not expecting any knocks at the door anytime soon, but we'll see. Let's see what she says about Dominion Society.
Her synagogue in Toronto had been
She's
sprayed
Jewish,
by
I guess,
gunfire.
which
To
makes
Bill
sense
C9,
that she
an
will
act
support
to amend the
this.
criminal code, hate propaganda. To Bill C9, an act to amend the criminal code, hate propaganda, hate crime, and access to religious or cultural spaces. There is no denying the need to fight hate in this country, be it anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, transphobia, or incel-like misogyny. We have seen a recent rise in public racism in this country that takes my breath away, targeted at immigrants and refugees from East Asia and South Asia, Africa and the Caribbean, Latin America and the Middle East.
She's got it all.
Political groups such as the Dominion Society are now opening calling for campaigns of remigration. And then there is the enduring national shame of anti-Indigenous racism, Canada's original and perpetual sin, a hate that helps to drive the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women, who are all too often targeted for sexual violence because of their racial identity. Believe me, I am keenly aware of just how much danger there is in a hateful, hate-filled Canada. A dear friend emailed me just the other day to let me know that her synagogue in Toronto had been sprayed by gunfire. In 2024, the synagogue at the end of my daughter's street in Vancouver was firebombed.
Okay, so she just was complaining about Dominion Society calling for remigration. Like literally 15 seconds ago. She's saying Dominion Society, they want to kick people out of the country. Literally the people that Dominion Society wants to get rid of are the people shooting up the synagogue. So I don't know. So she's attacking Dominion Society, but then complaining about the people that Dominion Society wants to kick out.
For me, as a person of paternal Jewish descent, this isn't a hypothetical debate, it's a deeply personal one. What is fueling this wave of hate and hate crimes?
Mass immigration.
To Bill C9, an act to
but
amend
instead
the
of,
code,
telling the truth, they're saying it's hate speech. That's what's causing all this. That's what's causing all this problem is hate speech, not mass immigration. Hate speech. That's crazy. All right. This is Sarnia police. Tomorrow is the funeral for that young man who was shot in Sarnia by some Cambodian gangster wannabe who's still on the run. Still haven't caught him yet. I'm sure he'll get caught though. So they're expecting a lot of cars, so they're taking basically people to avoid the area during the procession. Very sad. And then I'm just going to do one more. This is this is horrible. Now, we got farming seasons coming up, where a lot of the times where you go take your kids or you go out to the farm, you pick some apples or some blueberries, or you're driving by a farm stand and you see some produce or, in this case, honey here. But lately you've heard the pick your own places and then the roadside stands, they're getting all ripped off. And they got video of it and it's all Indians. So that's another piece of Canadian culture being destroyed by Indians. So she did a video, of course, on this, saying, look how awesome Canada is. Shows how to pay and everything. She's basically telling all the Indians.
And these things used to be so common in this country, but for last 15, 18 years, things has changed drastically.
Of course.
But this is true Canada. So, यहाँ पे ऐसे ना लिखा हुआ open honey.
So she led all the Indians to the honey.
ये ऐसे ही है सड़क के ऊपर. आप कुछ भी यहाँ से उठा लीजिए. हनी के डब्बे हैं. उन्होंने घर पे वैक्स बनाई हुई है या हनी वैक्स है. और बस आप ईमानदारी से.
So she's showing them all the goods. How do you pay?
करके भी उनको e-transfer कर सकते हैं. या फिर यहाँ पे कहीं कोई जगह होगी जहाँ पे.
See, I would totally buy stuff from this, and I would pay for it. But now, anyway, she did this video, and now after she did this video, the place got destroyed. So, it used to be a common thing, but things have changed drastically. That's what she says in the video. Canadians know who's changing our country for the worse. These are the people being caught brown-handed stealing from this location north of Brampton. So yeah, they came for the honey, the free honey. So yeah, that's another thing that's been destroyed in Canada. Okay, one more thing. I said I was going to be done, but I want to say one more thing. Is this dude? He's basically saying about the Hindu temples and all that people are complaining about. Listen to what he says.
Thousands gathered. Published here in the province of Ontario. That is what people have been asking me. Yesterday at the Bhavani Shankar Mandir, thousands gathered.
Look at this
for the
demon.
Historic inauguration of a 54-foot Lord Shiva Murti, led by Pandit Hardat Ashwarji.
They look like they're assimilating very well into Canada.
The Hindu community met in high school auditoriums and small renovated
Not
homes.
really, no.
There were no temples like this. And I'll be honest, I grew up hiding my Hindu identity from my friends, never sure if it was something I could show openly. But today, we are creating a new normal. One where the next generation can be proudly Canadian and proudly Hindu at the same time. Where our traditions aren't hidden away in basements, but are now public-facing. Why? Because Lord Shiva stands tall for everyone to see. The Murti isn't about its size, but it's about its presence.
I don't think it looks like
this
doesn't look like assimilation.
As a home here in Canada, and that our children never need to hide who they are.
Of course not.
So the real question isn't why build them. The real question is, how do we make sure the next generation understands what they stand for?
We studied the follow-up from the panel.
What is my opinion of all of these?
We're gonna see a lot of these younger Indian dudes who are gonna act like they own the place and really be forceful. Like the first wave were just coming in nice and smiling, saying thank you, thank you. Once they become more of a block, and eventually the majority, or close to majority, then they're gonna turn the whole place into India. And sorry, I don't want that. I don't want your Hindu temples. But it's not just the Hindu temples. It's everything. Like, they're literally in everything. So if it was just the Hindu temples and they did it on their own property, maybe. But this is just like everything. So we'll see how it ends. Anyway, next broadcast will be on Monday, April 20th, I think. We'll see if that ceasefire keeps going or gets, or if it gets renewed or if they start fighting. We'll see what the gas prices are, and we'll see if what the Liberals start doing to Canada. It's destroyed. All right. So until then, have a nice weekend.